Hi, I am going to start the 10th session for the sentence correction drill, and we'll move right into the questions. So the first question says that the grey falcon, an Arctic bird of prey, has survived a close brush with extinction, and this semicolon means whatever it should be parallel, or it's like an and thing. Its number are now 5 times greater than when the use of DDT was sharply restricted in the years 1970. So whenever we have AND here, and its numbers are now 5 times greater than the number when it was, something like that. Whenever we are comparing, we want to compare right things with the right thing. So has survived the close brink of extinction. Its number are now 5 times greater than their number. C goes out. C would be my first elimination. Now with 5-fold the number they had. D is weird. Extinction now with numbers 5 times. So I think after now we have the numbers. Let's try to read this. E option. So survive close brush with extinction now with numbers 5 times greater than when the use of. So we are comparing number with number in the right way. So E becomes our best option. So one hint here that you can catch is the semicolon, which talks about kind of an equivalence, and the other hint that you have are weird comparisons. So those are two major hints that will help you to break into. Let's move to the next one. It says that the survival of coral colonies, which are composed of innumerable tiny plants living in simple relation, were brilliantly colored algae, are being threatened. Experts say not only by pollutants like agriculture and oils, but also by dropped anchors. Okay, so there are coral colonies. Even without moving this, I have a little bit idea, extra knowledge, what you may call it. So some kind of corals are there in the seabed, and they are being destroyed by ships, things like that. So these are general areas of GMAT, feminism, business, environment, global warming, evolution, things like that. Okay, so which are composed of low tiny or brilliantly is being threatened, are being. So there is being in each of the options. So being would not help us to eliminate the option. Being would help us to eliminate options when being is there in only one or two of them. So is and are is something that we would like to check at. So the survivor of coral, which are composed of is being threatened. So coral colonies which are composed of simulation is being threatened. Is only being threatened is a weird way. So placement of that is wrong, and we don't have not only is not only, or so is not only being. The placement of not only makes C and D go away. So are being threatened, expense not by not only pollutants, and not only by pollutants such as. So B and E, there are difference, but we can say that we have to use is here because we are talking about singular aspects, and that would make E the best option here. So we are talking about survival and not colony. So survival is threatened. Survival cannot be are threatened. So that helps us to move to the next one. Let's move to the sixth one. And it says that those skeptical of the extent of global warming argue that the short-term temperatures are inadequate means of predicting long-term, and point out the scientific communities remain divided on whether significant warming will occur and what impact will it have if it does. So what would be the whether warming would happen and what impact it would have. So just running on the first part and not wasting time, and directly coming to the point. So having a bit idea of what was there before in the line, before I start with. So means of predicting long term remains divided over. So divided on or divided over, that's an idiomatic way of usage. So divided as to whether, on whether, so divided over is the right way to use it. And let's look at the other reasons or some other things which are even maybe more greater. On whether significant warming will occur and what impact will it have if it does. So divided on whether warming that occur will be, oh no, B changes the kind of meaning that we want to convey. As to whether is as to and whether are kind of a redundant thing. So as to is an issue, as to whether something will occur or the impact it would have. It's not about or, it's about and. So warming will occur and what impact it might have. So over whether there will be significant warming or the impact it will have. C and D are again changing meaning. And this is a big hint in the GMAT question, change in meaning. Remember I talked about three things: meaning, grammar and idiomatic usage. So neither of them work. Let's look at each. Divided over whether significant warming will occur and what impact it would have. This is clear, this is very clean, and this becomes the best option. Let's move to the next. It says, so here is another alternative solution, and you can check that out from the PDF. I think I have talked about most of the things that the alternative solution talks. Okay, let's look at the fourth one. It says that once made exclusively for wools of sheep that roam over the coast of Scotland, comma, Harry's tweed is now made only with wools that are imported, comma, sometimes from their mainland and sometimes they come as a result of 1916 amendment to from outside Scotland. Okay, so they are talking about some something being exclusive wool and now it's made from something exported. Let's look into the options to get more idea. So Harry's tweed is now made only of the wools that are imported from the mainland sometimes, or sometimes from the mainland, or that comes sometimes from the mainland, or sometimes as a result of 19th Act. Okay, so we have to compare the right thing with the right thing, and sometimes from the mainland and sometimes imported, sometimes from the, so A and B, we need to write an or. So mainland or sometimes they come as a result. So and or is a kind of meaning indication that we want to look at. So sometimes that comes from the mainland or sometimes they come as a result. So they want us to understand the placement of and or. So AB goes out. That comes sometimes from the mainland or sometimes as a result of from outside Scotland. From mainland sometimes, so sometimes placement is wrong, and it comes or coming makes it more worse. So C becomes the best option. So as I told you, the A and B goes due to the or thing. We can eliminate A and B for because we want to convey that either it's imported or it's from something like that. So we cannot have an and there. So this or is being implied from the other meanings that we have nearby. So fifth says that while Hans Holbein the Younger is most often identified as the English portrait, scholars have long been recognized him as a superb draftsman and a remarkable versatile artist, and who was fundamentally designing novels of Italian with the tradition of Northern Europe. Okay, so we are talking about Harris Holbein, and scholars have long been recognized. Makes it quite clear that been recognized, being, and these kind of words are never welcome. So we can directly call recognize or recognizing. Since all options have recognizing, that does not make sense. So is often have long recognizing him as a superb, him being B goes out, as long superb draftsman and as a so and a remarkably versatile artist who was fundamentally so recognizing him being so C and D looks quite close, so recognizing him uh, and a remarkably versatile artist and he was fundamental, so and he is not the right way, who makes it more correct, so that makes C option the best one of the ones that we have. So an idiomatic way of recognize X as Y. Let's move to the next. It says that from studies of the bony house of brain, which is the cranium located in the back of skull, comes what scientists know about dinosaur's brain. Okay, so from studies of the bony house of the brain, comma, which is the cranium. Okay, I think placement of which is the cranium bit weird. Let's look at the option. The knowledge of dinosaur's brain that scientists have come from. No. Scientists have come from the study of the bony house of the brain located at the back of the skull, that is the cranium. Oh, weird. Then cranium should be put first and then we should talk about cranium. I don't know. The B, A and B does not makes a lot of sense. Mild elimination. The knowledge that scientists know about the dinosaur brain comes from studies of bony house of the brain, which is located in the back skull and is called the cranium. So knowledge of studies from bony house of the brain, which is, I think you should talk about cranium a lot more and it would make more sense. What scientists know about dinosaur brain comes from the studies of the cranium. Okay, what is cranium? The bony house of the brain located back. D looks good. Located in the back of the skull is the cranium, the bony house of the brain, and it is from the studies of this that awkward construction. We want things to be clear. We are writing GMAT to avoid what's written in A, E and sorry for the disturbance. Let's start with the 7th question. It says that during the last interglacial period, the climate on the earth was warmer than it was today, and consequently melting of polar ice caused the sea level to rise above 60 feet over and a level above what its height presently is now. We need to compare level with level. Whenever I see and I start thinking that. Okay, let's look at the options. Sea level to raise over its height. No. Sea level to rise about 60 feet above its present height. Okay, so it caused the level of the sea, to it's weird. The level of the seas. What is seas? Sea level makes sense. So sea level to be raised over its height presently of what's B doing? So sea level to rise above 60 feet above its present height. Sea level to rise about 60 feet over and above what it is, its height presently is now. Now presently all of them are redundant, so either say what it is now or what it is in the current time it is. So that makes C our best option. Let's look at it, and it says that in hoping to restrain economic growth, comma, who? Interest rate are not hoping that, so policymakers are hoping that. Interest rates were raised by policymakers, making, what is making pointing to? Making it more expensive to borrow for business and consumers. Okay, so we know what the problem is, kind of. So making it more expensive for business and consumer to borrow, comma, interest rate, no. Making comma, British policymaker, C is right in terms of the British policymaker. Hopefully restraining, no. hoping to restrain economic growth, comma, in making borrowers more expensive, comma, no. C is weird because in making we have to talk about what they did, who did, and what's the effect. So hoping to restrain economic growth, okay, this is the reason. Now who? British, comma, raise interest rate, okay, and what this interest rate is going to make. So interest rate making it more expensive. So making is put in the right way, British policy makers are put in the right way, and that is the reason E becomes our best options. Let's look at ninth. It says that scientists have found new evidence of people initially registering emotions like sadness or anger in much the same way as heartburn by monitoring what's going on within their bodies. Comparison seems weird. Let's look at it more deeply. So scientists have found new evidence of, or that, I think that makes more sense. So it should be of course C, D and E, that people initially register, I'm looking at C, people initially register emotions such as sadness or anger in much the same way, okay, they are experiencing heartburn, okay, by monitoring. I don't know, let's keep this, that a person by monitoring what's going on within their bodies. How can we compare a person and their bodies? If we want to use a person, then we have to use in his body. So that's a big blunder, which will make C as our best option. So focus on traps like these. So we have to compare singular with singular thing. We have to compare the right things with the right things. Let's look at the 10th one. It says that in an effort to increase profits, the company moved itself from emphasizing its chemical business to expand into high growth. Weird construction. Let's try to understand what he's trying to say and move to the option. So in an effort to increase profits, the company moved itself from, or move from emphasizing, move itself from emphasizing its chemical business to expand. I think if you are talking about emphasize, then you have to talk about expand. So that's one way of being things look in parallel. Moved itself, the company moved emphasizing, so moved from emphasizing, so move itself does not make sense. So move from emphasizing its chemical business, move from an emphasis on the chemical business and to expand. So D looks great, but one problem with the change in meaning is that we are talking about and. So we were doing something and we were doing something else. So from chemical business to expanding into high growth area. So that and creates a problem, and that becomes one of the reason for the elimination. So change in meaning, getting the right meaning of what they are actually trying to convey is one big hint there. Okay, that would do it. I'll see you in the next class.